Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here with Little Prepper Lady. I'm going to pull this a little closer. How's everybody tonight? So we're going to talk about the blackout that happened in New York City, but we're also going to focus on a little bit of the grid and how antiquated it is and how weak it is, okay? But before, we're going to give it a minute for some people to get in here. So obviously I'm here with Little Prepper Lady, and we're going to do our show here in a minute. But I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you all had a nice weekend. Thankfully, the hurricane wasn't as bad, and it dropped down to a tropical, storm pretty quickly. And they did not get as much rain as they thought they were going to get down there through Louisiana. I mean, there's still flooding, and there's still issues, but it's really good to see that it wasn't as bad as it could have been down there. So I'm really happy about that. But also remember, this is just the start of hurricane season, so just the very, very beginning. So barely blew or rained in Mobile, Alabama. Yeah, I heard that New Orleans did not get it as bad as they thought they were going to get it either, which is great, and because they live in a bowl. So when you live in a bowl under sea level, it's probably not real good for hurricanes and stuff like that. What do you?
Yeah,
you can agree with
basically.
That? All right, so let's get into the topic of the video tonight, okay? So I wrote down some notes so I didn't forget these type of things. So at 6:47 p.m. last night, there was a power outage in New York City, okay, which affected 73,000 customers, all right? And it started on...
See, now you have a different amount than what I had.
Well,
I read two different...
I know, you had two different things.
That said 90 or 60.
I watched your video, but I got my information today. I waited till today, so that was more accurate.
They're all going to be different. This
happened on Manhattan's west side between 72nd Street and West 40th, and also 5th Avenue all the way to the Hudson River. So it's a pretty decent-sized area that this happened to, okay? It stemmed from a problem with a substation on West 49th Street and affected 6 power sectors. So now it's very funny. So I'm going to read two different things, which I thought was very telling, okay? So the guy for the power company said that it was a mechanical failure, and they didn't know for sure what the cause of it is, but they will do further investigation. And then our esteemed governor of New York, Mario Cuomo, got on there and said there was an explosion and a fire and at a substation. So I thought that was kind of interesting that, you have Con Ed saying one thing and then the governor saying, well, there was an explosion. So let's talk about the power grid and the issues with that. Now, obviously, as everybody knows, lately it's been your governor is a dope. You're not telling us that we don't know.
Well.
Yeah, we know. He's I won't say. Yes, but I agree with you. He's not a good governor. But I was going to say worthless is something on a bowl, but,
Something Cuomo that rhymes with suck.
Yeah, right. Okay, so anyway, so you have this explosion at a substation, which ends up...
a weather balloon.
Yeah, weather balloon, exactly. Isn't
that the going story for everything? It was a weather balloon.
It's not a UFO. It was a weather balloon. So, guys, if you haven't at this point, if you would shoot us a thumbs up. I see we got like 270 people in here.
That's a whole other thing, too. Did you hear about that?
What's that?
Like 340,000 people are going to storm Area 51.
I heard that, too. I think that's funny. There'll be a lot of people getting arrested.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people getting arrested.
It's going to be a good time to watch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch that from the sidelines.
I'm going to sit back with my red Zapple Ale and be like,
exactly.
This is fun.
Okay, so you have this issue at the substation, okay? Be it an explosion, be it a fire, be it whatever was the original cause.
Yeah, Ed, where's your T-shirt?
Yeah, you know what? When it's hot, when the weather, it's too hot.
A cut off one.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, why don't you just cut the sleeves off of it?
If I cut the sleeves off, I have to cut the neck out though too.
So?
All right, well I can do that.
I always have mine on.
Yeah, I can't. It's too hot. I'm
repping the prepper power over here.
Yeah, I gotta do the muscle shirt. Sorry.
Slacker.
It happens. Slacker. So anyway, but when you have
just make him a tie-dye tube top.
Tube top. There you go. They're perfect. I'll wear it. Could you imagine me wearing like a tube top? That would be scary.
I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna buy a toddler size.
I'm wearing a tie-dye dress. Lori Austin just said that. It's funny. When did I miss the intro of this lady? This is no, she's not my girlfriend. She's a good friend of mine.
Must be new here.
Must be new, yes. We are very good friends. We actually met down in town, and she started her own channel, Little Prepper Lady. So if you would like to go check that channel out and subscribe and show her some love, that would be great. And that way you can support her channel as well, because she started the channel after she met me. So, and actually I was her first subscriber. So
loyal to the end, I guess.
Right. So I found tie-dye boxers at Kohl's. That's
they
funny.
make tie-dye everything. I love tie-dye.
Oh yeah,
so
they do.
I
Absolutely.
will be getting my tie-dye going here.
Hey JJ,
soon.
And just for you, my green tea.
He's offended.
I know that
now.
offends you, so we have to do it. So, and that's a joke, guys. Anybody that's new that hasn't seen the channel, it's a long-going joke that me and JJ have about the iced tea.
The blackout was yesterday, KS, in downtown Manhattan.
In Manhattan, yes. So, and guys, if you haven't yet, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Like, comment, and share, and make sure you hit that bell icon so you get notifications as well. Philly had a blackout too. Somebody just said, "Oh, okay, just go shirtless." Yeah, right. I'll tell you what, it's warm enough. I can tell you that it's definitely warm. So I got 2 fans are going right now. We actually had to turn the one fan down because it was going to definitely be too loud.
Lori Austin, that's a really good idea. We could totally do tie-dyes at the get-together. If you guys want to do all matching tie-dyes for everybody, bring your own white t-shirt, and I will supply the dye. All
right, so anyway, let's get back on topic here because, we're like just started this video.
Hey, that's
we're
part of the topic.
It's part of the topic, yes. So we're completely off topic already. Imagine that.
It's going to be fun.
So anyway, it's been a lot warmer than normal, okay? Obviously, it's summertime, so you're going to have a lot more drain on the system of the power system. But what I think a lot of people don't take into account is the fact that we have a lot more people in this country. Every year, more and more people are here drawing on that system, an antiquated system that is overtaxed, and it can't keep going the way it's going. We need a complete overhaul of our power system. So you're going to continue to see these type of blackouts happen, be it New York City, be it Chicago, be it in California, be it wherever. And because so many people are drawing so much power to try to stay comfortable, to try to stay cool, and those type of things. So it's definitely it's a great way. Somebody just said it's the blackout just proves how lacking the grid is. Elle Gibson just said that, and she's 100% right. 100% right. Very good comment. The grid is very antiquated, needs a complete overhaul. Again, and I've talked about this before. If we focused on roads, bridges, waterways, and the electrical grid, we could put a whole lot of people to work for a very, very long time. We're talking 20 to 30 years to get the grid and everything else up to snuff to where it needs to be. We have a lot of issues with our complete system, and so we really need a complete overhaul. And think about if we put all these people to work, them all having good jobs, good paying jobs, what kind of money would they be putting back into the economy? It would be a win-win. Absolutely a win-win.
Yeah, where is our tax money going to? It's not going to our roads. We have potholes that swallow our SUVs.
It's pretty bad.
Crazy. They're not putting the money where it needs to be put. They're putting it in more politicians' pockets, and the things that need to be done in this country are not being done. And I feel like this power outage is going to be something that we're going to be seeing a lot more of throughout the entire summer, throughout the entire country. So
I agree with you 100%. As we continue with this, sweltering heat that's been happening, and I know you guys in the South are used to the heat, but we're not used to it up here in the North. So when you're having very high temperature days, it does not make it a whole lot of fun to try to get anything done. So
Yeah, the Broadway shows.
Keep calm and tie-dye, Jessica just said.
The Broadway shows were canceled. So what they ended up doing is actually having a lot of the Broadway people come out and do impromptu
in the streets.
In the street.
Yep,
so I'm
too.
kind of upset that I missed that because that would have been awesome. But
you know, here's the thing: is people are very resilient. Okay, but here's what I want you to think about too, guys. Okay, so we'll talk about this power outage a little bit. So now you're in an elevator and there's a power outage. You're in the subways and there's a power outage. If people waited like 20 minutes before they had somebody come to them and say, there's a power outage, you guys need to get off. Now, you got to remember, you're in a tin can underground. It's very, very hot because now the air conditioner is not working. And so, you know, they waited 20 minutes before somebody came and said to them, you need to get off here and walk. They had to walk from that point to get on. You know, and they had to walk to get to the next thing to be able to try to figure out where they could go to where actually the subways were running. So that was a definitely, you know, not a fun thing to have to deal with there. But think about if you're in an elevator, okay? And this is one of the things that I had picked up that I was watching a lot of information on it last night, and people were saying, well, there's no cops at the intersections directing traffic because all these, you know, the lights were out and stuff like that. Well, the cops were busy on calls because you got to remember here now, the power goes out, what's going to happen? Crime's going to go up.
They actually had civilians out directing traffic.
Yeah, I know.
People were getting out of their cars and directing traffic because the street lights were out, and who knows how many accidents were caused before people started getting out of their cars and were like, okay, we need to do something about this. So
goes to show that people being in the big city is not the place to be when SHTF hits. You know what, JJ? I agree with you 100%. We've talked about that a lot. You had a lot of people wandering around not knowing what to do, where to go. They couldn't go to their apartments because their power was out. They didn't have any air conditioning. They didn't know what to do. Thankfully, there wasn't a tremendous amount of crime with this, but it was a short blackout. By, I think it was midnight, they had all the power back on. But you're talking about a 5-hour period where there was no power. And, you know, and people were pretty decent about the whole thing. But
here's my question, though. So they were stuck in these elevators and had all these issues. What happened to the backup generators? Why weren't most of them working in all of these huge buildings? Aren't they supposed to have backup generators? Isn't that a requirement per their building code to have them?
That, you know what? That I do not know, but that's a good question. That's actually really
I mean,
good
if you're in a hotel, any type of a hotel, or like an apartment building, you see the floodlights along, you know, the walls as you're walking down the hallway. So that's just an indication that they have backup systems for when the power goes out specifically. So generators should not only run the power to the elevators, but should knock on those floodlights as well. And that stuff I didn't see being reported at all.
Julie J. Day just said infrastructure investment is lacking in the UK too, and utility companies are now foreign owned. You're right. You know what? That's sad. And it happens a lot here too. Like we have a lot of wind turbines down here through the southern tier, and they're all actually owned by Spain. And all that power is being sent out someplace else. It's not even actually being used in New York. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I noticed that. These blackouts happened at the same time that the ice raids were supposed to start occurring. So,
oh, that's interesting too.
So that's something that we need to...
Well, you had mentioned in your video today that it was like the 40th anniversary?
42nd anniversary. So this happened in 1977. And actually back then, there was a ton of crime, loitering, all sorts of things that were going on in the city, but you didn't see a lot of that this time, or at least we haven't heard about a lot of that this time. So what's the difference between then and now, especially with, you know, the police not being around and people having to direct traffic and stuff? How come there wasn't
more crime?
They did, however, I heard evacuate a lot of the stores in the area because they wanted to keep down on the crime. Obviously, when the power goes out and you can't see people, they're going to steal a bunch of stuff. So they evacuated the stores just probably to keep down on that. So that's probably why we didn't hear about a whole lot of crime. Right.
And guys, if you haven't yet, if you could shoot us a thumbs up. We're only at 141. Which is terrible for 15 minutes into this.
Especially since we're already up to 445 people watching. Let's go, guys.
Guys, got to give us a thumbs up.
We got records to beat here.
I don't know if we're going to beat it today at this pace, but hopefully we can get
the night is still young.
It is still young. That's right. We're only 15 minutes into the chat. So, but anyway,
he doesn't have any faith. I do.
Well, it's up to you guys. You got to show us a good number here for them thumbs up. So anyway, guys, when you have, so what I want you to think about, and again, especially for all my fellow brothers and sisters preppers that live in the cities, I want you guys to think about this. This was a small event that happened to only part of the city. If this was a complete and utter blackout for, like, say, the whole state or the whole East Coast, if you're stuck in an elevator, how long are you going to be there before somebody comes and rescues you and helps you get out of there, or are you on your own? Okay. If you are stuck in the subway system and it's a complete blackout of the whole city, how long are you going to be stuck there? So we got to think about these type of things that definitely can affect us as human beings, of what is going on. So, those are things that I want you to think about too. And, obviously there was definitely more crime. Police were answering more calls, so they were busy. They couldn't even direct traffic. And like, little prepper lady said that, you had civilians out directing traffic because it was that bad. So, it's definitely, I always have a flashlight in my pocket. Kevin H. just said that. That's actually pretty smart. I always have a lighter in mine. I always have a lighter with me at all times because just in case of that emergency, you never know. You never know where you're going to be when that situation happens. And so, good people stepped up to help. That's a great comment, and you're 100% right.
Which is hard to find anymore, to be honest.
But we're also talking about a 6-hour event. We're not talking about a 2, 3, 5-day, 2-week event. Things would break down pretty quickly in that type of a situation. And everybody needs to really, truly be prepared for that because you never know. When's that blackout coming that the lights don't come back on 6 or 8 hours later? That's what we need to be ready for, guys. And that's what we need to think about. We need to be prepared and plan for those type of situations. If you're in that apartment and, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? It's like, depending on, some of these buildings are really, really high. So, number one, don't panic. Assess the situation. Do not panic. Adapt, overcome, and improvise. Yep, exactly. And again, don't panic. JJ, you're 100% right. Having a game plan ahead of time, guys, and I've talked about this quite a bit. Having that game plan ahead of time, that really truly makes a difference because then you don't panic. You already have your thought process in place. You already know what you're going to do. A lot of people are going to be panicking. So if you can keep a clear head, know what your plan is, know what you plan on doing, that is definitely going to make all the difference in the world in that type of a situation. So anything you want to...
My entire issue was this a test to see how people do, test to see what would happen.
How they would react.
We see them all the time, these power outages all over the country randomly. It doesn't seem to have a rhyme or a reason to it. So are they testing different areas? And you always see it in like big cities,
right,
where it's happening. So to test to see, how people are handling it, how panicked people will become. That's kind of my take on it, is that they're getting ready for something major. Are they either A, going to do something, or B, worried that something's going to happen and we need to be prepared for it? So
that makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Dense population test, Kevin H. just said. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me at all. I think as the summer progresses and the temperatures are rising and we have a lot more hotter temperatures and have a larger pull on the system, I think this is not going to be a isolated incident. I think you're going to see this more and more and more. Are you concerned about the crop losses this year? Casey just asked that. 100%. I've talked about that quite a bit, Casey. I've talked about adding food to your preps now, be it canned goods, be it long-term food storage, rice, beans, wheat, oats, those type of things, corn, putting them in your long-term food storage, your honey, your freeze-dried foods, having all those different things, like I said, your canned goods and those type of things, doing canning, preparing that way as well. I think it's really, really important that we continue to get ready because with all the crop losses that we've had across the country this year and across the world as well, I think it's definitely something to be concerned about. I wanted to talk about something real quick too, And like when I did my video the other day for what I keep in the car, I realized a couple things, okay? And this is a cool thing, is always reassess your stuff, look at your situation, look what you have, and then reassess it. Chrissy Rose, my dad is watching. Can you say hi, Anthony? Hey, Anthony, and thank you very much, Chrissy. Anthony, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you watching, and thank you for that donation, Chrissy. Thank you very much. When I'm looking at that situation, I realized where I was lacking, and one of the things was I did not have enough water in my car, which I will be rectifying that. I'll be honest with you. A couple things I definitely need to tweak with what I have. Somebody made a great point of having extra pants, that wool pants and stuff, or not wool pants, but cotton pants, if they get wet and they chafe and stuff like that. So what I'll probably do is I'll add a pair of sweatpants into that as well, because it's like that would be looser and it wouldn't be so tight if they get wet. So those are things that, I definitely was lacking when I did that video. And I did have jumper cables, guys. I just didn't show them in the video. They were in another compartment. So I definitely wanted to put that out there as well. So, is Alabama safe? Jessica, it really depends, to be honest with you. You just, you really don't know. It's hard to say, what's going to happen in that area. I mean, it's from the hurricane, probably yes. But, long term, we just never know. We just absolutely never know. So somebody said Area 51 is a hoax and it's all hype. You know what? Again, if people go trying to rush Area 51, they're going to get arrested. They're going to go to jail because it's a very secure facility, and it's a military installation.
Well, their thing is they have 300,000 people, so it's all these people against the military. But
yeah, you're not going to win. You're still not going to win.
It's against the
Paul
military.
just said, I never go anywhere without a knife or a lighter. I'll tell you guys, I'm going to tell you what I carry with me at all times. All times I carry. This is what I always have in my pocket. I have a lighter. I have my Swiss Army knife, and I have chapstick. Because now chapstick can also be used as a fire starter if I need it to be. Okay. So I always have those in my one pocket. In my other pocket, I have my keys. And I have on my keys, I have the can opener that I can use. I have a tick removal key, and so those are things that I always carry with me.
Area 51 signs say lethal force will be used on trespassers. Okay, yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
Well, Patrick, you know what? So I think you shoot a couple people, and I think the rest will scatter.
Here's the thing. They're hiding something in there that they don't want anybody to find out, and I don't care how many people are going to storm it. If they want it hidden, they're going to keep it hidden. So.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
And they're hiding stuff in there. We all have a pretty good idea on what they're hiding in there.
Okay. Dill Rodriguez says you don't conceal carry, Ed. I don't talk about weapons, to be honest with you. That's something that I keep private. It's the one thing I will not discuss on YouTube, just because why would you give people information that they don't need to have? Hashman Hills, thank you very much for that donation. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. I have 4 acres of black walnut trees. They're all dying. Why? It's my backup plan. Well, you know what? I absolutely do not know why they would be dying. I know there's been a lot of issues with some trees. Like we have our ash trees up here are all dying because they have that larva and the bug that comes in there, the boar ash, and they're killing all the ash trees. So again, it's a cycle that happens, and unfortunately, these things do happen. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Yeah, somebody had just said that there were signs at Walmart that had to do with I don't know what states they're in, but I did see them as well saying that they are low on stock or totally out of different canned items. So yes, it's starting. And I saw a bunch of photos the other day from last year during this time. They say it's like July 4th. Photos of corn that's supposed to be up your knee high. So knee high by July is what the farmers say. And this corn is literally only this tall.
Right.
So we're in a heap of trouble.
So we just had somebody ask my thoughts. The ice raid started today. Danny Richardson just asked that. My thoughts. Well, before we get into that, if you haven't given us a thumbs up yet, guys, please do so. I see we got like 561 in the chat right now. please give us a thumbs up. We would appreciate that. We're only at 233 right now. Not even close to the record. The record's, what's the record?
Like 700 something.
761, wasn't it?
I don't know. It's pretty high.
Yeah, it's 761 to record. So unless you guys put that effort in there to see if we can beat the record.
Last week was pretty high.
Yeah, last Sunday we got pretty high up on that. So if you haven't shot us a thumbs up yet, please do so. So talking about the ICE raids, again, I have zero sympathy for people that are in this country illegally. I've talked about this a lot. If you come in here legally, I have absolutely no problem with anybody coming in the right way. You have Eastern European people from all over Eastern Europe, all over Asia, the Philippines. I've actually got in a conversation with a lady from the Philippines that had to jump through hoops to get to this country, and she was pissed about all these people coming up from the southern border. And of course, everybody's trying to say that they're, coming in here is a, what is the term? I'm going blank here. Asylum seekers. Okay. Yeah, I was going blank for a second. Yeah, that's okay.
I'm half asleep today.
That's all right. But they're coming in here stating that they're asylum seekers. Well, there's a right way to do that. You go to a port of entry, you ask to be an asylum seeker, and you do it that way. Right. And if you do it the right way, I have no problem with anybody being in this country. I don't care what race they are. It doesn't make any difference. We are the melting pot. United States, guys, realistically, if you look at the whole world, the United States is the biggest melting pot that there is because we have so many people from such diverse backgrounds. And then you have people marrying each other from different ethnic groups. And we are a huge, huge melting pot. And it just really is what we are. But if you're here
legally, that's fine. You're paying taxes. You're doing,
If you're doing it the right way, I have no problem.
What you need to do what the rest of us do.
But when you have these cities, sanctuary cities, saying we're going to go ahead and harbor illegal aliens, that's not right. That's breaking the law. So as far as the ICE raids goes, I definitely... when did it become cool to be a victim? King Nasty just said that. And I agree with you 100%. We're going to elaborate on that in just a second. But again, getting back to this whole thing
you got him on a soapbox.
Yeah, you're going to get me on my soapbox now. But again, with people coming in here illegally and expecting to be treated differently, that's ridiculous. You come in legally or you're an illegal alien and you don't belong here. You don't get a driver's license. You don't get a free pass. You go back to your country of origin until you come in the right way. So that victimhood mentality, let's talk about the victimhood mentality. As soon as somebody doesn't agree, but we need immigrants just legally. Great comment there. And I agree with you 100% when you're saying that. So who was that? Hidden City Prepper just said that. We need immigrants just legally. I have no problem with anybody, guys, coming into our country if they do it the right way. And so let's talk about the victimhood mentality. Let's talk about I'm offended. Let's talk about that real quick, okay?
Everybody's offended by everything.
Whatever happened to I have my opinion, you have your opinion. It may be different than mine, but we will agree to disagree and leave it at that. Whatever happened to that? Now we have this, here's my opinion, and if you don't agree with my opinion, then you're a racist and a bigot and a misogynist, and you hate women and all this other nonsense. How did that happen? That's what I don't understand. And as soon as, and this is another thing that happens a lot, as soon as you disagree with somebody, I'm going to scream louder and shout you down and not let you state your opinion. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And it's very, very sad that this country has come to that point where you're attacked because you have a different view of somebody else. Now, listen, so here's a great example. Pro-life, pro-choice, okay? Either you're for abortion or against abortion. And guess what, guys? I don't care what side you're on. I really, truly don't. You can be pro-choice, pro-life. It is your choice to believe whatever you want to believe. And if you choose not to have an abortion, then guess what? Don't get one. But if you choose to have an abortion, I support your right to be able to do that. Again, it's not my place to tell somebody else how to live their life and what they should do. Now, having said that, I will say that I don't believe that abortion should be used as a form of birth control.
Exactly.
I've talked about that before. But rape, incest, absolutely 100% agree with it. It should be able to be taken care of and out of the situation. There is enough children now in the welfare system, in child care facilities, that if the people, the bleeding hearts that truly give a crap or say they give a crap, there's kids out there that you can adopt if you want to help children. If you want to help children, great, go and do that. Go adopt those children, because there's a lot of them out there.
And from this country, because
And
there's
from this
so
country.
many from
Right.
this country that need to be adopted. It's out of control, and these people are going out and adopting kids from other countries.
Prepper Nick Ford just said, I agree, Ed. And thank you very much, and thank you for that donation.
Like, I get you want to go out and adopt, but start with this country.
Right.
Our kids in this country
There's
are
a lot
homeless,
of kids. Yep.
are veterans. Everybody needs assistance in this country before we go messing around with other countries.
L. Gibson said, go, Ed, tell it like it is. Guys, I'm going to be honest. I've always been honest. I say it like it is. You can agree or disagree. And again, I respect your right to believe whatever you want to believe. Always will. I will never tell you you're wrong because you believe differently than I do. I respect your right to believe what you want.
You know, if we use the money that we have, that we're spending on all these illegal immigrants, and used it to fund the children in this country and fund the homeless in this country, we wouldn't have the problems that we have. But instead, we're off fighting battles for other countries. We're off doing things for other countries. We're trying to be a police force for the entire world, and we're paying money to illegal immigrants to come into this country and give them all sorts of things that half of us can't even get ourselves when we actually really need it. And we're not trying to live off the system. We're just trying to get by from 1 month to the next month because we lost our job.
Most people are trying to get by from 1 month to the next. To be honest with you, most people are month to month. We are literally 3 months, anybody, from being homeless. And, you know, if you think about it in that context, most people are struggling. Most people. And that's how it shouldn't be that way. You know, we have a lot of opportunities in this country. Let's see.
Most are week to week. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You know what, Jamie, you're absolutely
anymore.
yeah.
And
you're right.
Both people in the house, if you have a two-person household,
Yep.
have to work.
Absolutely.
And then you got the whole issue of kids having to raise themselves because you can't afford a sitter. You can't afford anything.
Well, think about the fact, too. You have children, and you figure the divorce rate in this country, okay, and how many people are divorced. And so now you have single moms and single dads out there trying to raise their children and trying to do the best that they can for their family. And maybe they don't get support from the other spouse. And the other spouse is off doing their own thing or
Yep.
whatever the problem is, or they're dead or they're, you know, on drugs or whatever it may be. They're not helping in that situation. So now you have a lot of men and a lot of women on their own, raising their children, trying to do the best that they can. And it's very, very difficult. And, you know, it's not an easy situation for anybody. And so, you know, I empathize, guys. I mean, I am a single father who raised 2 children by myself, you know, from the time that they were the age of 10 on. So, and anybody that knows me knows that my kids come first, always have come first before anything else. And that's just how I am. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of men out there that are like that, unfortunately. There's a lot of women out there that are raising their kids by themselves. Now, there's also, let's put it into context, there's a lot of people that will use the system to play against the other spouse, be it a man or a woman, to play games, to get, you know, to screw that other person. And that's not right either. You know,
I have something funny to say.
Okay, well, hold on one second. Let me just make one more point here. You have kids that are brought into this world, and a lot of times it's a mistake. Sometimes it's not. My kids were not a mistake. I wanted my kids. We decided to have children, and we ended up having the twins, okay? So, but once those children are born and once they're here, you know, you have a mother and a father. Maybe mom and dad don't get along and decide to go their separate ways, but that's always going to be mom, and that's always going to be dad. And hopefully, and I say this realistically, but it's not realistic, that mom and dad can realize on equal ground what the most important thing is, and that's the kids. So go ahead.
So all these immigrants that are coming over to the country think that this country is so great and they're going to get all of this stuff until reality hits them and they realize, oh crap, it's not as great as we thought it was, and everybody over here isn't rich, and we're going to be poor too. It's going to be great. Can't wait.
Lori McGee just said, I'm a single grandmother raising a grandchild. Now that, you know what, that happens a lot too. I got a lot of respect for grandparents that do that. Hidden City Prepper just said, single dad with an average income and working 2 jobs. Exactly, and I understand that, man. I do. I really do. And thank you for that donation. I appreciate that. It's not easy, guys. It's not. And there's a lot of us out there dealing with that same situation where mom and dad are not both in the household. Actually, I'll tell you something, and this is, and I never thought this would happen to me, and I'll be honest with you. I never thought this would happen to me. Children with autism, the divorce rate of parents with children with autism is 95%. Now let that sink in for a second, okay? 95% of parents with children with autism, the divorce rate is 95%. And I honestly never thought I would be in that category. I thought myself and the ex would be together forever. Things didn't work out that way. That happens. What are you going to do? But, my son has autism, as you guys know, and it is what it is. So we deal with it, and you do know why it's 95%. I'll tell you why it's 95%. Most men, and I'm not going to include myself because I never did this, okay? Because I'm a nurse and I'm in the nursing field, so I looked at it from a different perspective. But most men, if there's something wrong with their child, I don't care if it's autism, cerebral palsy, whatever it may be, they blame the wife. They will always blame the wife. It's her fault. Can't be my fault. Couldn't possibly be my fault that this happened to my child. So that's what happens, okay? I looked at it differently, obviously, from a nursing perspective. It is what it is, okay? I obviously, as you guys know, if anybody's watched my channel for any length of time, I feel that autism was caused for my son with the inoculations that he got when he was 2 years old.
I agree.
Got his 2-year-old shots. It was like somebody turned a light switch off, and my son had autism after that. He was diagnosed at 2.5. So
mercury is bad stuff.
And it affects everybody differently, and it depends. You're talking about a developing brain on a child.
It has to do with the genes, and then what your chemicals are mixing in while they're trying to grow. And it depends on whose genes get what, and if it meshes well or doesn't mesh well, and then you end up with either autism or not autism or all sorts of other problems.
Now, I did want to say this with the autism, what you got to look at, and I'm not anti-vaccination. You can still get your children vaccinated, but if you make them spread the vaccinations out so they're not getting everything at once, I've always said that's the way to do it. You spread it out. So, and the reason that they bang you with so many inoculations at one time is because they don't think people are going to come back. So they'll hit your kid with 12, 15 different, shots at one time. And that child's not big enough to deal with that. So if you can break it down and say, okay, well, I'm going to get my kid immunized. If I could talk right. I'm going to get my kid his immunizations, but I want you to spread those shots out. You can do that as a parent. You can request that. You can advocate for your child, and you can have them do it that way. If they do it that way, it's going to be better because your child's going to have more time to react to what they're getting. They're going to have more time to be bigger and stronger as the next round of shots come. So, again, it's an individual choice, guys, and I can honestly say if I had to do it all over again, I would still get my children immunized, but I would have spread it out. Knowing what I know now, I would have made them spread those shots out.
I wonder if that may be some of the issues that my son has, because he was fine until he was about 2, and then he ended up going almost totally blind in his left eye. His eyes started turning in, and then now he has, he shakes like this constantly, almost like his nervous system's all messed up, and he just shakes like there's nothing wrong with him. He's had CAT scans and stuff, and they say there's nothing wrong, but like he literally shakes. So it may be, the shots that he had. It may be the poisons that they were injecting into him that, Yeah.
ICU 812 said, I asked the doctor to spread the shots out, and the doctor argued with me. They can argue all day long if they want to. Let them argue. You tell them this is what you want. You are the advocate for your child. You're the one that's going to advocate for that child. Nobody else is. They don't care. They're going to, and I'm going to tell you what, doctors, they will spread the shots out for their own children. I'm telling you right now, that happens all the time. And that happens a lot, okay? So I want you guys to think about that, okay? So if the doctors are doing that, you have the right to say, look, this is what I want for my child, and this is what you're going to do, and they have to do it. They have to do it.
Yeah, he doesn't have autism. I mean, he's never been diagnosed with autism. He does have ADD really bad, but I don't have him on any medicine. But he just, since he was 2, his left eye went 90% blind, and it turned in. He had to have surgery, and he shakes like this all the time.
Deborah Hilbert just asked, is fish mock safe if you don't have regular antibiotics? Okay, Deborah, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I have fish mocks myself. I have penicillin and amoxicillin. If I was in an emergency situation and I needed an antibiotic, I would take fish mocks. Amoxicillin from fish mocks and amoxicillin that you get from the doctor is the exact same thing. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to say this is what you should do. It's an individual choice, but I'm telling you what I would do. I will definitely take the fish mocks if I have an infection. If I need some kind of an antibiotic, I will definitely use that. It works just the same. That's my opinion, and I'm not telling you what to do. Guys, again, if you haven't shot us a thumbs up yet, if you would do so, I would appreciate that. So we are at 326 right now. We got 601 people, so if you haven't shot us a thumbs up yet, please do so.
How do we get so off topic?
I know we always get off topic, always.
Anywho, it's whatever.
My mom had to raise me. My father died from a meth overdose. You know what? You know what? You want to talk about what's destroying the country? Realistically, it's the drug epidemic in this country right now,
the
guys.
Drugs that are allowed to be brought in because it makes billions of dollars.
Make a lot of money. You look at, heroin for a great example. I'm going to tell you what. I have never done heroin, never tried heroin, never had a desire to try heroin because I saw what it did to people. Same thing with crack cocaine. Never had any kind of desire, never wanted to do it, but it's big money. And they push it out there, and they want our young people addicted. If you're addicted to drugs and you don't care about what the big problems are, the true problems in this country, which is not racism, by the way, which is big government. They perpetuate racism in this country all the time. They want us to all hate each other. And again, like I've told you guys before, I don't hate anybody. If you're decent to me, I'm going to be decent to you. And that's the bottom line. That's how I've always rolled, and that's how I always will roll. I don't care what color you are. So, but they want to push that racism agenda, and it's in the media every day. Okay, so watch that. I've been meth and drug free for 18 years.
Good
David
job. It's a
very
hard
good job.
thing to do.
Yep, very good job. Don't let them control you guys. You know what? It's all about control. Drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, even vaping. It's all about control.
Hey.
I'm sorry, I know you vape, but it's true. It's all about control. And,
unless you want me to murder people.
Oh, well,
I'm gonna vape.
But again, it's all about control. If they can keep us down and keep us controlled with drugs, alcohol, they're going to do it. They're absolutely going to do it. So addiction is control. Yep, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And so it's an individual choice what you do or what you don't do. So, you can do whatever you want to do, guys. And,
Kevin H. Yeah, if the purge ever becomes a real thing, I have a list.
Yeah, right. I don't blame you. I used to have a list until I let a lot of it go. There was a lot of it I had to let go for my own.
Oh, no, my list just grows.
Your list just grows? I'm going to go check the chickens real quick, so I'm going to let you talk. I will be right back, guys. I got to go check on my chickens.
Dude, this got so far off topic, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore, so this should be a hoot.
We'll just answer comments from here. I will be right back, guys.
I know how to do this. I do have my own channel.
You do?
Yeah. Or so I've been told.
So you've been told?
All right, guys. What's up? Do I need tobacco seeds just in case? No, you know what? Honestly, I can't even stand the smell of cigarettes anymore. It makes me want to puke. So, ugh. No, I don't know. I just like my fruity vape. And it's only 3% milligrams for an entire bottle. So I guess it's not a whole lot of nicotine. So it's not that bad. I used to be like a 2-pack a day smoker. And then I was like, yeah, I can't breathe. So I should probably stop doing that. Hi, guys. What's up? The Yellowstone activity. Okay, well, with all the earthquakes and stuff that's been going on in Montana and California, I'm a little nervous about it. Washington had 2 earthquakes the other day. I'm a little concerned about it. I don't know, what's going to happen with that, so I want to keep an eye on it. It makes me a little nervous, and you know how they always say there's one earthquake that maybe is a 5.2. Expect a larger one potentially within the next week. Usually it's about a day or 2 out. So definitely something we want to keep an eye on as those continue, and they continue to move closer to where Yellowstone is. It's definitely something we should be checking out. Try. Neptune's nectar, old and slow. I'm not sure what that is. If it's not beer, I don't want. No, I'm just kidding. I do drink tea and water, but I like my beer. Yeah, today, RV Source, I saw that there were earthquakes in Indonesia, Australia. I reported on them earlier. They're ahead of us, way ahead of us. So you're probably talking about like today, which is not actually today, it's actually tomorrow, because they are so far ahead of us. So yeah, they just keep coming. They keep coming and keep coming. And I've been keeping track of earthquakes for quite a while. And I haven't noticed so many all at once. Like they're usually a couple of weeks spread out. So I know Indonesia does get quite a few and stuff like that. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on it. It's something that we all need to be keeping an eye on because, yeah. I vote for Little Prepper Lady and PN1 tie-dyes. I am going to start doing tie-dyes. I'm going to get together with the Watchman News and try to figure out how I can start my own website so I can sell like merchandise for Prepper Nurse One and myself. I'm going to do tie-dyes and try to get screen printing and stuff done. Do I partake in what? I mean, I have. While I was in California, I'm not going to lie. I didn't smoke it. I did edibles. It was delicious. I had a good time. Brian had some too, and then he passed out, and he's like, I'm never doing that again. But I mean, funny. It's legal there, so why not? We're of age. We can do it, So we had a good time. It was vacation.
Aren't cell towers offline in New York City? Not that I heard of.
No earthquakes in New York. It was a blackout, power outage. Supposedly,
how's the chicks?
Caught
they're
on
actually
fire.
Angela Baker. They're doing very, very well. Sorry,
your turn. For
my turn. Okay. The chicks are doing well. I just went out there and I like to get them locked in earlier if I can, and they were already all in the coop. And then what I do is I lock the door, and then I go in the coop and I make sure that they're okay. And so that's what I do. So. But yeah, you know what? I'm very protective of my animals, and it's just kind of the way I roll. I mean, I love my cats, love my dogs, and I definitely love my chickens too. I'm not going to lie. Chickens are a lot of fun, and like they take care of me, I take care of them. So have Ed bring back a cat. Well, actually, the kids ended up. Their mother blew them off on the weekend. They were going to go originally on Friday with their mom, and. So, is it legal to open carry? Yeah, it's legal here in New York to open carry. So the kid's mom blew them off on Friday. My daughter came in like 2 hours before they were supposed to meet with their mom, and she said, "Yeah, mom blew us off again." And I said, "Okay." And she's like, "Well, I'll take them Sunday." And I'm very whatever you do. It doesn't matter to me. I know that they want to spend time with their mom, so she ended up taking them today. So they're not home right now. But so she took them today, and she's going to keep them for a couple days, and it is what it is. So, but they're I definitely I have my own opinion on the whole situation, but I'll just keep it at that. Have you heard about the 500,000
What
people
situation?
storming Area 51 in September? Joseph, I did hear about that, and I'm going to tell you what, if it happens, I'll be surprised. I don't think a lot of people will realistically do that because they're going to get their butts whipped if they do. To be honest with you, the government is not going to tolerate that. They will have more people on hand, and it actually says in Area 51 that they will use lethal force. FEMA website tells folks to prepare. Do you think the government needs to do more? Hold on a second. I got to read that. Hold on 1 second. I got to go back.
Like Sweden government does in order to send out pamphlets.
L. Gibson just asked that question. You know what? I think that they should do more. They should encourage people to definitely prep more. And thank you for that donation as well, L. Gibson. I definitely think that there should be more focus on being self-sufficient as you possibly can be. And because when war does happen or some major event happens in this country, too many people are not prepared for that. They're really, really not. Guys, if you haven't at this point yet, if you could shoot us a thumbs up. We're at 381 right now as far as thumbs up goes. So let's see how high we can get that. Let's see if we can get that up to 500 before we get off here tonight, just for the sake to see if we can get it up to 500. So.
Yeah, you shouldn't bring your guns to New York State parks in New York.
Yeah, definitely.
There's rangers around.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Yeah.
But the alcohol is fine. I know a lot of people were saying things about that. It's a bring in, bring out. So whatever you carry in, you need to make sure you clean up after yourself. And other than that, they don't really care as long as you're not getting out of control and not trying to jump off the gorges.
Right. Doomsday Dave just asked, a Rhode Island Red's the best bird to have? They're a really good bird to have. There's a lot of really good birds. You want to, depending on what area of the country you're in, you want to look at that and realize what birds are better to have.
Ladies, I'm going to do a video here shortly on things that you should do to prepare being pregnant and prepping if you have to bug out or bug in for an SHTF situation. I've been working on some things for that, so I will be coming out with a video on that pretty soon. He doesn't really have.
Can you do a wild edible show? Oh yeah, we can definitely do wild edible. I'm gonna do some videos. Actually, she's gonna come over. We're gonna actually go out into the woods here, and we're gonna identify some plants for you and show you, the different plants that you can eat and what they're good for, and also we're gonna do some medicinal plants as well. So we're gonna definitely do that at some point.
I will get you your kitty fix, guys. What?
She's going to grab one of the cats. She's grabbing Miss Soxy.
Kitty cat.
Edibles with THC. No, Hidden City Pepper. Not that one.
Baby.
Yeah, there's Miss Soxy.
Hi. How are you?
Now you got to do this like Eddie does. Hold on. We got to do it. There you go.
Sox says, can you put me down now?
There's Miss Sox.
Come here, girlfriend. What's that? Hi, girlfriend.
She's a good cat. Very, very good cat. So, she winked. Yeah, she's only like 13 pounds, so she's our second fattest cat.
She says, I was giving myself a bath. That's just so rude, but you're petting me, so I'm going to be okay with it.
Yeah. She's stealing my cat. Yes, that's right. She can take him home.
I'm an animal lover, so I'm going to be a vet tech because I like the animals. I don't like the humans. Yeah.
My cat weighs 36 pounds. Wow. That's a big cat. Our fattest cat weighs 18, and she's a pretty fat cat.
Girlfriend. You want to get down? Here.
Elisa Taylor just said, I'm known as the cat lady at work. That's funny.
I'm the cat lady at home. I have 3 of them.
Yeah, we got you beat with cats. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd have more, but Brian doesn't like them. He hates cats.
Ed, are you going to do a cooking episode with Legacy freeze-dried foods? I have, actually, Frank, I got a bunch of those out there. I have one more thing that I definitely do want to do a review on.
No fur coat from the cats? No.
Fur coat? Oh. No, she's going to be a glove.
No. Not okay.
She would make a great glove.
Shut up.
I couldn't get 2 out of her.
Girl. That's a pretty girl, yeah. Huh.
No, she's a good cat. She's a real good cat.
Be nice to the cats. They are not wearable items. Huh. Unless we're starving to death. And
actually, it wasn't all over. It was actually pretty isolated in Manhattan's west side for the blackout. So that's where the blackout was. And as far as in New York City, and it was there was a fire, according to the governor, and an explosion, and then a fire. That's what Cuomo said.
See, I just heard that it was just a fire in one of the transformers that ended up spreading to a bunch of other transformers and catching
About
them
6
on
hours,
fire.
Bill Norwood. He asked how long did the blackout last. It started at it was about 5 to 6 hours. It started at about just before 7 o'clock, and a little after midnight, everybody was back online. So.
No, there weren't any reports of any type of violence that I saw. Did you see any reports?
I didn't see any reports of violence, but I know that they were saying that the police were very, very busy, and they didn't have, they weren't able to direct traffic because they had so many calls. You got to remember, guys, when you have that type of an emergency, not only are you having the emergency of people trapped in elevators, people trapped in the subway, you're talking about medically frail people that need to have oxygen, that need to have a ventilator and those type of things. So those are priority emergencies of a situation. So you have, the police have to deal with all those type of situations. I'm sure there was some crime due to the blackout. There's always going to be that. People are going to take advantage of that situation. So, those are things that you want to think about as well. So that's definitely something that I want you to remember. In that situation, you really got to be prepared for everything.
I plan on getting a bow and arrow. I don't know about a gun. I have issues shooting guns. I mean, I had a 410 and I don't have it anymore. And I was okay with shooting that, but I don't feel like it can do as
Sam
much
Squad
damage.
Says hello from New Zealand. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But I definitely want to get a bow and arrow. Not only will it do damage, but it's more stealthy. It's good for hunting. It's quiet. And I know how to shoot a bow and arrow much better than I can shoot a gun. So I feel more comfortable with that. So I may be getting myself a bow in the near future.
There's crime even when there's no blackouts. You're right about that, Pat. Crime is definitely going to go up when there's a blackout. But again, we're talking about in just part of the city, not the whole city. And it was basically a 5 to 6 hour event. So was there an increase of crime? I'm sure there was. Criminals are always going to take advantage of that type of situation.
I've never done a crossbow, but I think that would be fun. Cute picture of me with a crossbow.
Hey, BBQ Trucker, how you doing tonight? But, yeah, it's just, there's situations, like I said, with that. If it was a more of a citywide situation, I think things might have gotten a lot more intense. But people were able to get around that situation, except the people that obviously lived in that area. So...
Red Ryder BB gun. Hey, actually, BB guns can be some serious damage. I used to.
L. Gibson just said, I thought it was interesting the location of the blackout, no major hospitals. Yeah, that's definitely very interesting. Again, could this be something that was planned? It could be. We don't know. Could it be somebody trying to get some nefarious stuff going on? Absolutely could be as well. We just don't know. Those are things that, again, you just never know. Guys, if you haven't yet, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Also subscribe to the Little Prepper Ladies channel. And like, comment, share. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you get updates of what's going on here. If you like our channel, like what we're doing. I'm on every single day. I do live streams 3 days a week. She does live streams on Fridays at 9 o'clock. So I do Wednesdays, Fridays, and on Sundays, obviously, since it's Sunday and we're doing a live stream, so that makes sense. She joins me every Sunday for that. Also, guys, again, I wanted to mention real quickly, we are doing the Prepper Get-Together August 17th at Letchworth State Park in New York, and that is at Eddie's Pavilion. It's EDDYS Pavilion. You do have to pay to get into the park. You can bring your own booze. That's not an issue. I plan on providing hot dogs and hamburgers for everybody that's going to come, so I kind of want to get an idea who's all going to show up.
Bring a dish to pass, guys.
Yep.
Bring your own T-shirt if you want to do a tie-dye.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'll supply the pop. I'm going to bring a bunch of pop. I'll bring plates, napkins, silverware, that kind of stuff.
All
and
right.
then I'm going to bring dye for the tie-dyes, too.
So, and again, it's like, just kind of give us a heads up if you plan on coming so we kind of get an idea. It's an all-day event. It starts at 9 in the morning. The pavilion closes at 10 o'clock at night.
Soda pop, however you say it.
Right.
Soda pop.
So also, just to let you guys know, there will be somebody home at the homestead all day. So anybody that has any ideas, trolls thinking they want to come here and start some crap at my property while I'm gone, somebody will be here all day at the homestead. So please don't do that, or you could have bad things happen to you. So just going to put that out there as well. Don't come to this prepper get together thinking that you're going to cause trouble, because bad things will happen to you. I'm just going to put that out there.
I can be really feisty. I'm like a chihuahua on steroids.
So, but like, this is about having a good time with like-minded people, and that's what it's all about. So everybody's welcome to come, and please do. I would enjoy anybody coming. Again, guys, if you haven't shot us a thumbs up, we're at 439. Let's see if we can hit 500 here before we sign off. So if you haven't shot us a thumbs up yet, please do so. So let's see if we can hit 500 here before we jump off here. So 2 other things we got to do, of course. Got to talk about we are legion. We are many. We can truly make a difference when the time comes. We are all over this country, and, we can really, truly make a difference when the time comes. That's why we prep, guys, to try to help as many people as we possibly can. It's going to make a big difference, okay? So I want you guys to think about that. Also, I got to ask, of course, because here we are, we're getting down to the end of this show. Got to ask, where's everybody from tonight? So BC, Canada. I already had somebody, I knew what I was going to ask.
Single little purple.
Yeah.
I'm taken.
So
engaged, actually.
So we got Texas, Sodas, Michigan, Florida, Cincinnati, Ohio, Ohio again, Utah,
in New York State. Sorry.
Austin, Texas. Oh, now we're in other Florida, Wisconsin, Bellevue Mountain, New York, New Zealand, Michigan, Florida, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, North Carolina,
Whoa.
Long Island, Minnesota, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, the Netherlands, very cool, New Hampshire, Minnesota, Central Florida, LA, Nashville, Tennessee. This is going fast. So Philly, Maine, Tennessee, Illinois, Stockton, California, Kentucky, Florida, South Carolina, Northwest New York,
guys,
Mississippi, Reno, Nevada, Indiana, Connecticut, Canada, Arizona, Maine, Massachusetts, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Iowa, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Columbus, Ohio, Bellevue, Ohio, Pennsylvania again, Central Ohio, Ireland, very cool.
Ooh, Ireland, I want to go there.
South Jersey, Canada, South Africa, very cool. Southeast Pennsylvania, Twilight Zone, Ohio. I like that.
So he didn't do the minutes on the phone again.
No, I haven't done the phone yet, so we're not going to be doing the chat yet.
We'll do a live call in next week. I'll make sure that he sets it up.
Yeah, I'll get the phone, the minutes for the phone next week, and we'll have a brand new phone number for that. So, so look for that next week. We will take calls next week. And, we got Japan. Very cool. Jeremy's from Japan. Very cool.
Earth.
Yeah, Earth. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm from Earth, too. Or at least so I'm told.
So I'm told, right? Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, guys. So we get 466. Let's see if we can hit 500 on those thumbs up. We're very close. Wolfang, anytime. Give me a holler if you can. Anytime you want to call. More than happy to talk to you. So I'm late again. At least I made the last bit of this. That's funny. Jessica just said that. Yeah, it's the last bit of it. So, all right, we're 27 away from 500, guys. Can we hit 500 before we get off of here? Solar kilowatt hours. We ended up for the total for today was 6.4 kilowatt hours on the day today. Yesterday ended up being 7.6, which was the best day we've had this year. So that's very, very cool. Again, if you haven't checked out Little Prepper Lady's channel, it's Little Prepper Lady. No space in between. Go check it out. Show her some love.
Yeah, he's mad I didn't shout him out.
Who?
On Friday. Sorry.
No, I'm in there talking to her on Friday. Not a word. Doesn't say, hey, Prepper Nurse 1, nothing.
Listen, I'm on a little tiny computer screen. Mm-hmm. He's seen my computer. It's like 10 inches. It's really tiny, so I need to get out my big laptop and start doing my stuff on that. So that I can actually read it. Shut up.
It's like I can do for her, but she can't do for me. That's how it goes. I get it. Assault. You see that?
I'm going to assault you.
Elder abuse, just so you guys know.
I'm going to break your hip.
That's right. She's going to knock me down and break my hip.
I'm getting
Can
better,
you trust
okay?
your
It was only
neighbors?
my second live stream. I'm still getting used to it, okay?
Okay, Christina just asked, can you trust your neighbors during SHTF? That really depends. If you have some kind of connection with your neighbors, if you have some kind of rapport, that definitely makes a difference.
No, we're not together.
Tucker,
Just
I don't know if I got that email or not. I'll have to double check. He said, did I get the email about Illinois telling residents to prepare for an earthquake?
RV Source, I can do that?
I will definitely check that out and see if I got that, but that's definitely something to pay attention to if that's the case.
He said I could connect my computer to the TV and then do my live stream from that.
Oh, really?
Dude, I need to figure out how to do that. I'd totally be able to read everything at that point. I would never miss your comment again.
Right. Not in my neighborhood. People can't be trusted. Again, it's as far as your neighbors goes, guys. You know who your good neighbors are. You know who your bad neighbors are. So it's also very important to pay attention to that, and knowing what is going to be decent people and what's not decent people. So those are the people you're going to want to work with. Obviously, you don't want to work with scumbags. They can definitely cause a lot of problems. I have YouTube on my Xbox 360. Oh, that's cool. Well, Fang just said
I'm going to have to steal my son's TV and set it up so I can do live streams on the TV. It's great.
Honor Prepper just said, this channel is great. Few friends are watching. That's cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. It really, truly does. Okay, guys, we're 13 away. We're at 487. Let's see if we can hit 500 thumbs up here before we jump off of here. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait till we get to 500 before we sign off. So, EMP could knock out the electrical pumps that have the water supply.
Get to 500, we're gonna just stay live all night.
Stay live all night long, all night. We're at 495. All right.
He's got issues.
So if you want us to get off the air, get us to 500. No, I'm just teasing, guys.
Oh, we're 2 away.
I have awesome neighbors, almost all preppers to some degree. That's cool, Janet. It's really helpful. I have some great neighbors myself, to be honest with you, and it really definitely helps. It makes a huge, huge difference.
One more, guys.
One more to go. There it is, 501 now. Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you, guys. We appreciate that.
Still not a record, though.
Not a record, yo. Our record's, what,
700 something.
Was it 7?
7.
Was it 760?
It was over 700 last week.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to.
Because last time before that was like 600 something. You were like, we got to smash this record.
Yeah, we
and
did.
We got it up over 700.
But we got over 500 tonight, so that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So watch this, guys. If you're having a good day or a bad day. Now, she hasn't been doing that lately because I tease her about that.
Because you pick on me.
So she sits on her hands. Now, I want to see.
I go like this.
We should do a show. One of our live streams.
You talk with your hands.
Oh, I do. But we should do a live stream where we see if little prepper lady can go through a whole show without talking with her hands. I'll bet she can't do it.
I can't.
I know.
I'm going to tell you right now I can't do it because I always talk with my hands. Look, I can't. It's just...
I know. I should have been Italian, too, because I talk with my hands, too. But anyway, guys, we're going to jump off of here from now. Remember, we are all in this together. It's really, really important that we do, that we remember that we are all in this together. Remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. And also remember STD, guys. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that can stop you from getting there is yourself. Nobody else can stop you. And?
Always keep in mind, guys, whether you're in a good situation or a bad situation, you're having a good day or a bad day, just stick with it. You're on that journey for a reason. Everything's going to be okay. Also, always remember, forget about the past. There isn't anything that we can do about the past other than learn and grow and try to be better people from our past. We need to be living our lives right now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We all could not be here tomorrow. So it's important that we're living and loving and laughing and enjoying our family and friends right now while we're staying focused on the future. That's all we've got for you guys tonight.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Have a great night. Thank you for joining us.